The first thing you need to do when you want to answer a writing, you don't start answering a writing question by writing. You start by planning. So kindly write this down. There are three stages to writing. We have the pre-writing stage. We have, can you see this? We have the pre-writing stage. We have the writing stage. And we have the post-writing stage. So there are things you need to do before you write at all. There are things you need to do. So at the pre-writing stage, you plan your essay. How do you plan your essay? The first thing you need to do is interpret the question. Because sometimes students don't even, from what you have written, we get to realize that you don't even understand what this question is asking you to do. So let's go back to this question that I've just analyzed the answer. Write a letter to your friend. What I taught my students is you underline the keywords so that you can always reflect all those keywords in your write-up. Because if you don't reflect the keywords in your write-up, the examiner is going to say, oh, you don't even understand what this essay is asking you to write. So write a letter to your friend in another school. So to your friend, you need to underline that because that is an indicator for you to know that this is an informal letter. In another school, this friend of yours is not in Jos. This friend of yours is not in Abuja. This friend of yours is not outside the country. This friend of yours is in another school. So you also have to pay attention to that and note it in that essay. Show it in that essay. Just like how she has said, she has just said that essay. No, or that place. No, you acknowledge it. You mention the name of her school and then you mention the name of your own school so that the examiner can tell that, oh, you understand that this friend of yours is not in your own school, it's in another school. So telling them more about your future career. So that means you need to introduce your future career to this friend of yours and how it will be beneficial to your country. So you should also explain how it is going to be beneficial. So these are the keywords to your friend, another school, your future career, and the benefits to your country. So these are the keywords for this essay that you need to pay attention to. Let's look at another one that we can use. And as a former senior prefect, write a letter to the principal of your school on the occasion of its 60th anniversary celebration, congratulating him and offering three suggestions for the improvement of the school. So I think there's a number of keywords to underline here. As a former senior prefect, you need to underline that because in your write-up, you will need to acknowledge that you are the former senior prefect. Write a letter to the principal of, even if it is just in one sentence, you need to acknowledge it. Write a letter to the principal of your school on the occasion of its 60th anniversary celebration. So you also need to acknowledge that. So you underline that. So it's a 60th anniversary celebration and it is addressed to the principal of your school. Congratulating him. So you need to give him a congratulatory message. And offering three suggestions for the improvement of the school. Then after the congratulatory message, you offer your three suggestions for the improvement of the school. So while offering a suggestion, you must tell why you need the suggestions to be done. You know the effect of the absence of this suggestion, and you know the probable effect of bringing those suggestions into reality. You also need to show us that. So if you are able to interpret your question properly, it will help you to understand what you need to write and it will help you to come up with the logical ideas for that particular question. So let me move on. After interpreting the question for the pre-writing stage, the first thing you will need to do is, I hope you can see this, you interpret the question. You interpret the question. Please write it down so that you can follow these steps when next you want to answer a question. Interpret the question. Then two, form an outline. You know, students are usually very lazy and they feel so uncomfortable when you tell them to form an outline because they feel like, oh, it's a waste of time. But my dear, it is not a waste of time. It is a wise decision to make. It is a wise thing to do because it will help you get your essay to be organized. So because this student of mine, we actually sat together to analyze the essay together. So I told her that she's supposed to have an outline. So what is an outline? An outline is like the skeleton of your essay. Look at yourself. If you don't have a skeleton, will you be able to stand? Will you be able to sit? You won't be able to do anything because the skin is just going to be empty. Even the blood will not even have the structures to follow. Do you understand? So it is the skeleton that upholds the body. So your outline is also the skeleton of your essay. So what do you do? A write-up is usually is usually have sorry a write-up usually will usually have three major parts, which is I don't want to clean this. Let me adjust the board because I'm still coming back to it. Okay, I think we have a clear space now. So a write-up will have the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. The introduction, body, and conclusion. So when we have um, a write-up like this, when you want to plan for your outline, you plan for the introduction, you plan for the body, and you plan for the conclusion. So in interpreting the essay, this is what I gave my student that, okay, let's interpret this question. It's an informal letter. That friend of yours is in another school. You want to talk about your future career, and then you want to talk about the benefits of that career to the country. So now this is our outline. We started our outline, introduction. In your introduction, regards, greetings, and salutation, because it is an informal letter. So in your introduction, you need to show some regards to your friend. You need to ask him or her about her family, her well-being, and all of that. Then in that introduction as well, you need to acknowledge that she is in another school. So after the introduction, after the greeting, you can say, I hope you are enjoying Favor International School, just like I'm enjoying this easy school. You can acknowledge it in different ways. That's the idea that comes to my own head. Do you understand? So now you move on to the body. The body of my essay. What am I going to write in the body of my essay? And you don't forget that you still need to continue to use your interpretation. Future career and benefits of the country. So what is my future career? I'm going to introduce my choosing career to her. That's the first thing. Mm? Maybe I've said, okay, in the future, I want to become an English teacher. Mm? And because of this, why? Because I would like to impact the young ones in this country. So how do I impact my students? This is just the first paragraph this is the outline for the first paragraph. So the first thing I said is I'm going to introduce a writing workshop to my students where I drill them on how to write properly, how to write effectively, the rules of writing, the do's and don'ts of writing. I'm also going to create a workshop, an inter-school competition workshop. Do you understand? Where students can come together, submit their entries, and get rewarded for doing well or for doing better than others, so that I can encourage others. I can encourage struggling students to also do better. So the third one that comes is, okay, I'm going to imbibe reading culture in my students, because you cannot be a good writer without being a good reader. Do you understand? I'm going to imbibe good reading culture. So after having all these points, I realized that my first point is actually going to be the second sentence. The second one is going to be the third, while the last one is going to be the first. So if I didn't plan my essay, that means it's just going to be haphazard. It's not going to be properly arranged. I don't know if you understand my point. It's not going to be properly arranged. So you can screenshot this analysis that I've done here for that particular question. So also what I said earlier, that if you say I want to impact students, you also need to tell us how you intend to impact, because you can impact students from different ways. So the first place where I said I want to impact students, I've said I want to imbibe reading culture. Even after saying I want to imbibe reading culture, how do I do that? So I said I'm going to help them with reading timetable. I'm going to help set up a reading timetable for my students. I'm going to introduce a writing workshop and a writing competition, an inter-school writing competition. By saying that, I have been practical enough. I have sound convincing enough for any logical person to say, oh, this student actually know what he or she is saying, or what he or she is planning to do. So the next thing is, okay, I want to instill, I would also, by being a teacher, I would also be able to instill entrepreneurial skills in the students. How am I going to do that? Okay, I can say that I'm going to form an extracurricular club for my students, where students get trained by the local entrepreneurs in the society, in the community. I'm going to invite them to the school, maybe bi-monthly, for them to train the students. Or we are also going to have student entrepreneurial challenge, where students get to submit their entrepreneurial ideas, or where they get to create things they can sell, or where they get to create ideas they can publish. You know, it's even the age of technology. Entrepreneur is not just limited to buying and selling, or becoming or producing shoes, producing physical products. It could be a digital product. So, you introduce students to these things. And when you say it this way, you've convinced your reader that you know what you're saying. It's not just that you come to tell us, I'm going to instill entrepreneurial skills, without telling us how. So, as you're saying it, think about it too. How can this thing happen in reality? So, the ideas that come to your head, try to write it down. Do you understand? So, we move on to, okay, after instilling entrepreneurial skills, what other benefits? Or I'm going to also be a good role model too, because students tend to revere their teachers a lot. Students have particular teachers that they like. So I'm also going to be a role model to these students, because I'm going to be efficient at my job. I'm going to be up I'm doing. I'm going to give them quality feedback. I'm going to love them. I'm going to teach them with love. You come up with these things. It's not that you are going to be saying, I'm going to. I'm saying this because we are still at the outline level. So you know that these are the points that you want to write down. So and when it is time to write, you know how to present it in the best of manner. So after forming the outline, we've talked about the ideas that are going to be, you already know the ideas that you're writing. So you know that, okay, the first paragraph should be imbibing the reading culture and every other thing. The second one should be instill entrepreneurial. The third one should be uh, being a good role model. Or you can think that being the good role model should be the second one. You get to arrange your ideas properly at the pre-writing stage. So the second stage is the writing stage. Sorry, the book I placed on it, I've kind of cleaned it. So we move on to the writing stage. So you write these ideas. You already have your plan, so you write it. Then after writing, we have post-writing. I think most of the work is done at the pre-writing and the post-writing stage. And students don't even bother with this pre-writing and post-writing. They just go to writing straight. And then you are wondering why you can't get 40 over 50 in your writing exam. So at the post-writing stage, you proofread. You ascertain that what you want to write is what you have written. Because sometimes we make mistakes. Even as teachers, when we write, we make mistakes. Professors of English in the universities, they make mistakes. Do you understand? So nobody is above mistake. You can make mistake. Do you understand? So these mistakes are natural. So the only way to combat this mistake is for you to do what? Go back and proofread. Maybe you've made a spelling error, you correct it. Maybe you've made you've tracked out, or maybe you painted a particular part. You just get to correct all your mistakes and be sure that you've done the right thing the right way. You examine every part of your essay, excuse me, properly, and you make sure that you're doing the right thing. So that is that about that. Interpret the question, form an outline, which is at the pre-writing stage. Then at the writing stage, you write the essay. At the post-writing stage, you proofread and edit. You proofread and edit. That is, maybe this one is not supposed to be here. This word, I wrote it twice. I'm supposed to write this one. You strike one out. Because if your examiner should help you strike it out, it can cost you your mark. So do it yourself so that you get your mark in full. Do you understand? So you proofread and you edit. So I would also like to talk about, I don't know, maybe this video is already getting too long. because students nowadays are very impatient. I don't know. Maybe I should talk about this, but let me talk about it anyways because some people that are interested. I want you to understand that your essay is marked based on a particular parameter, which is called COEMA. It is used to form this acronym, COEMA. So the C stands for content. The O is for organization. The E is for expression. Can you see this? And the M is for mechanical accuracy. So content is 10 marks. Organization, 10 marks. Expression, 20 marks. Mechanical accuracy, 10 marks. So some of you will say, oh, I've written. In fact, I chose the story question and I wrote a beautiful story. In fact, my examiner will be thrilled to give me 50 over 50. That could be you deceiving yourself, because those story that you have written is just going to be awarded under content. Under content, your I'm trying to position this thing properly. Sorry. Okay. So under content, your examiner is going to look out for how well you've been able to interpret the question in your essay. Do you understand? So that's what your examiner is looking out for there under content. Do you really understand the question by the way you have answered it? So that is 10 marks. Sometimes, if a question is asking you to do two things, maybe suggest the problem of so in the society and how to and suggest a possible solution. That's two questions. You need to mention the problems, the effects of the problems, and you need to tell us the solution and the effects of the possible solution that you are suggesting. Sometimes students just go on and on and on and on and on about the problems alone without telling us any solution. Sometimes you go on and on and on about the solution without even mentioning any problem. So if you do that, you are going to score very low in content, because you've just shown that you don't understand the question. Do you understand? So in organization, how well are you able to work on your paragraphing? I told you the other time that paragraph is a group of related sentences on a single idea. Are you just mumbling different ideas in one paragraph? Or you are just giving me two sentences and then you said that's a paragraph? No. It's going to make you score very low in organization. Or your paragraph does not have logical connectors. You are just writing and writing and writing. You don't even understand what you are saying. Or you from one paragraph, you did not finish what you are saying in that paragraph. You continue in another paragraph. Then you now introduce a new idea in that new paragraph. So that means you've mumbled two different ideas. Do you understand? In one paragraph. So all of these things will make you score low in organization. So for you to score high, you need you see once you follow that those parameters I gave you by doing your outline. In that outline, you already know what to write. You already organize your ideas. So you won't have issues with all this. You will score high under your content because you interpreted your question well. You will score high under organization because you already have a structured outline that, oh, while structuring your outline, you already know that, oh, this idea that came to me last, I think it will make more sense if I write it first. This idea that came to me second, I think it should be the last idea that I should write in my essay. So you've once you follow the parameters, you will get everything correctly. Now, the next one is expression. This is very important. Just like I said, that the essay analyzed was just full of colloquial expression. I don't know, as if you are talking to your friend in one local neighborhood. You kept on interpreting your local language into English, is not going to work. So if you are struggling with expressing yourself properly, then it means that you still need to work on yourself. How do you work on yourself? Practice. Pick up your past question, answer the question, or before you answer the question, go to the back, Check the way it has been answered. Do you understand? That will give you a clue. It's not you copying, it's you preparing yourself. Because eventually on that day, you won't have access to that past question anymore. So, and there's a reason why they answered the question is for you to see how you are supposed to answer it. Do you understand? So go to the back of the question, look out for everything. Look at the way they have written their own. That will give you idea. You don't need to write their idea exactly, but at least look at the way they have structured it. It could even help you to think about a new idea entirely, and you will do better at writing it. So, and sometimes if you are struggling with expression, if you have a teacher, if you have an elderly one around you, you can tell them, this is what I want to say. How do I say it better? Do you understand? Once you continue practicing like that, before you know it, you also become good at expressing yourself better. So the last one is mechanical accuracy, which is which comprises your spelling skills, punctuation, um, the structure. That's mechanical accuracy. So this is the parameters with which your essay is going to be marked, with which your essay is going to be marked with. So please work on everything so that you can get your mark in full. If you've gotten any value from this, don't forget to like this content. And if you have not subscribed, kindly do. Also share with your friends, let them benefit from it. And I'm also going to be making another content on summary. Hopefully, it's not going to be this long because I know that this is long. But if you are patient to the end of this video, I sincerely wish you success because that shows a whole lot of dedication on your part. Thank you. So may you excel in your examination and all of your endeavors in life. I love you all. Take good care of yourself, and I wish you all the best in your examination. Thank you.